This is Bumovation. My name is Noluthando Chabalala, also known as the Advocate of Self-Love. This is the platform, the channel where beauty meets motivation. And I'm pretty confident, as always, that once you are done watching this episode, you're going to feel inspired. You're going to feel beautiful. You're going to, embrace your own unique beauty, because my guest is all about that. It's all about beauty. It's all about motivation. She is determined. She is driven. She knows who she is. And you have definitely seen her on your television. She's a reality TV star. But above that, she's a philanthropist. Philanthropist. She is a mother, she is a wife, she's a businesswoman. She is also an academic, and we'll get into that with not just a degree, honey, an honors degree. Ratile Mabitsela, welcome to Bumovation.
Thank you. What a beautiful intro.
You know how we do.
I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you for making the time. I know you're busy, and you are someone who is living out their truth, which is what I love about you. And it's the reason why I also wanted to have you on the show, because as soon as you hit the screens, people look up to you, people follow you.
True.
People have questions, people have opinions.
Yeah, true.
But before we get into all of that, can you tell us who Ratile Mabitsela is? You tell us.
Well, I love the intro. I must say, I will not take anything away from it. But more than anything, I'm just like a little girl from Tembisa. I grew up in Tembisa. I went to school in Tembisa. Later went to Kempton Park. Went to UJ. I'm just like a regular girl with a big dream and a big God. And that's just who I am. Very, very basic girl who really believes heavily in herself and has very big faith in God. Because, I would not have anything to say that is tangible without having to say, I don't have any strength to take myself to where I am. It's only through grace. So yeah, I don't know how to further finish off what you have started off and put a cherry on top.
That is sufficient. That is sufficient. Ratile, you have a full sense of knowing yourself. It comes across from when you speak, even when you just walk in, and not a lot of people really have that skill. And so many people write to me and say, how do I become more confident? How do I become more of myself? How did you cultivate that sense of, this is who I am, and I've arrived, basically?
Look, I'm very comfortable in my own skin, and it has not always been like that. I need to tell you. My journey started in pageantry, when I just entered Miss Tembisa, because I needed to break out of my shell.
Yeah.
And it's the best thing I'd ever done to myself, because before I had entered the pageant, I really felt like I was afraid of even dreaming. When you feel like, I actually want a Mini Cooper when I'm 20, and you're just like, who the hell do you think you are?
Right.
Why do you want that when everyone is not having it? But soon after I got into pageantry, I really started to have networks and circles of people who were like-minded. And I actually saw that I'm actually not a big dreamer. These kind of people do exist. I just had to find my clan.
Yes.
And soon after I knew the best people to associate with, I really felt like an eagle. I really, really felt like an eagle. I really felt like the world is my oyster. I broke out of being so shy into being this young, confident woman in literally a space of a year, because this is all the grooming that we got through the pageant. By the time the pageant was over, I was crowned Miss Tembisa. And more than the crown, I think what I had taken away is I started to have a sense of self.
Okay.
I never used to have that.
Yeah.
I used to now say, look, I am a skinny, tall girl. I used to be very insecure about it. But I started to embrace it. I used to know I have these big lips that everyone would mock me about. And I started to say, actually, this is my favorite feature about myself. And it stopped being a weakness. It stopped being something that I used to want to hide behind and say, I don't want people to see this. I don't want to, be in a position where anyone will say something about what I'm the most insecure about.
Yes.
I found my power in being true to myself.
So the pageant world opened you up to, in fact, you cracked yourself open while in the pageant world. You found your confidence, you started liking yourself, you started embracing yourself.
Yes.
And that's something that I think brings insight, because for the average human being, or just to someone who is not exposed to the world of pageants, the world of beauty, you just think, it's just people parading up and down.
Definitely not.
But there's a whole thing behind it. There's a whole sentiment behind it.
It's so substantial, I need to tell you.
Please do tell us.
From, everything about me changed, from mannerism to how I hold my fork and my knife when I eat, to how I sit, to my posture, to how I interact with people, and basically just etiquette altogether. Because, if I was to say it in a very lame way and in a way that everyone would understand, speaking my language, pageantry irutwa mekgwa. Like, it will teach you manners. If you think it's just table manners that you need, you'll be surprised. You will be so surprised, because it really opens doors. It teaches you from how to dress, how to show up. Because people will address you as to how you are dressed.
Exactly.
Whether you want to say, I can show up as whatever I want to look like, but I know that my value lies in when I start to speak. Before you start to speak, 50% of what you look like has already been expressed.
There you go.
And we're human beings,
We're visual.
We're visual.
Yes.
We live in a very psychological world. You can easily judge a person by how they dress from just seeing them from across the corner before they even say anything to you. And sometimes you might never have an opportunity to say anything.
So the only thing you have is how you present yourself, your image.
Exactly.
And I'm glad it's coming from you, because when I make videos and I say hlapa, geza, bath, it's like, oh, there she goes again.
I love your content, by the way. I really thought to myself, I have to come here because if anything, I need to somehow work with you, collaborate with you, because I feel like there is some kind of brand alignment.
Definitely.
With what you do. It is giving pageantry to a very large extent. I don't know if
I've never thought about
pageantry
it. Not at all.
But it really does. Like, if you do the content that you do for TikTok and you take a bunch of pageant girls and you say, today we are doing pageant training, that is exactly what we talk about. Because we are instilling confidence, we are instilling self-love into these ladies so that they get to realize who and what they are. Because really, who are you awakening if you do not know what is within you?
I love that.
You really need to know. And sometimes, if not most times, people need to pour into you. So that you are able to, just like a flower, we all need some kind of nourishment for us to bloom.
Exactly. I love that. I've never thought about what I do as a form of pageantry, but hey,
It is.
So you win Miss Tembisa, you are this girl. I want to just go back to the part where you're not sure of yourself. And you once left a comment in one of my videos. You said that one of the things that got to you as a child, as a young person, was the bullying, And I want us to go there, because bullying exists even within adults, even in corporate, even in business, where there's just, stuff that goes on. How do you then wake up and decide that you're going to enter Miss Tembisa, and where do you find the courage? Because obviously you're not so sure of who you are, and pageants mean walking in front of people, talking in front of people. How did that whole process happen?
Look, I'll tell you what. I think as a child, I've really been fond of wanting to look, I would say, the closest thing to perfect.
Okay.
Right? This was just the image I had in my head.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to play literally at the back of the house. I would build a little office and always think that there's always a camera moving around.
Wow.
So I'd literally sit there so poised and be like, Yo, imagine I find myself on Generation.
So cute.
On Generate. Because I never used to know what goes into production and post-production. And, you know, if there's a number of takes you need to do to get this as perfect. So I wanted to be that. I didn't know what that meant. This was me as a child. Then I get to UJ. At that time, I'm like, what, 18, 19? 19, actually.
Yes.
I'm about to finish my degree, my first degree.
Yes.
And I need a job, and I am a big dreamer.
Yeah.
In me being a big dreamer, I've got plan A, plan B, and plan C of if this degree doesn't work for me, this is the route I'm taking.
Right.
So it was either I'm taking the corporate route, I'm taking the media route.
Yes.
And I'm getting into business has always been part of the plan. But I obviously had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So by the time I had to choose what to do, ESCOM had already accepted me to come and work for them. But I had to first go for interviews.
Yeah.
Which was very nerve-wracking. Because I felt, look, I look amazing on paper. I've passed.
Yeah.
I qualified to say I need to now go get into the work space.
Yeah.
But I was so shy. I used to worry, you know, I used to worry about just getting into an interview room and think, imagine I find 3 people in the HR who are going to interview me and ask me about who I am and my dreams and what I'm bringing to their company. Got me so nerve-wracked, I need to tell you. So I decided, okay, I need to break out of this. What am I going to do? And I decided I'm going to enter a pageant.
What was the reason? So what were in your mind, what was the reason?
I was looking for a job. To tell you the truth,
yes.
I was just looking to be employable.
Okay.
So I knew that my dad used to hold my hand literally everywhere.
Yes.
Whether it was applications in school for varsity, helping me choose what to get into. Like, he used to hold my hand everywhere. And this was the one thing that I felt like I'm gonna definitely have to face this alone. Dad is not coming to an interview with me. Mom has high hopes. Yeah. And she knows if I get the interview, I'm gonna bring something home.
So,
you know?
Yes, yeah.
So I was really nerve-wracked. I really was. So I went to the interview, got to the interview. The first interview didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. I was, however, invited for a second interview. Yes. And the second interview was now happening after I get my final results. And I decided this year, literally right now, I'm going to enter a pageant so that I come across as a better, I need to be able to sell myself.
Yes, and you knew that the pageantry world could do that.
I knew, yes.
Take
I was
that
like,
out of
if
you.
that's all I'm entering Miss Tembisa for, that's it. I remember the first time I went to Miss Mamelodi Sundowns. This was literally like 3 months apart with Miss
You were so
Tembisa.
busy, so young and so busy. Ne?
I had to break out of it. I knew it somewhere. I just didn't know where to find it. Went to Miss Mamelodi Sundowns. I remember had to take a taxi to Pretoria. The auditions were in Pretoria. I was called in. I knew that, you know what, my walk can sell me anyway. I used to have such a beautiful walk.
I think you still do. I think you still do.
In high school,
I think you still do.
I used to walk
well,
like
take it
such
from
a
me.
queen.
I think you still do.
Thank you. So I was like, if I just get to walk this stage, I'll deal with the nerves when they ask the questions.
Afterwards, yes.
Oh my gosh, the nerves got to me. Miss Mamelodi Sundowns got to top 10, and that was just about it. Went home and I had to retrospect and say, look, I'm going to try another pageant. And this time I'm doing it to break out of my shell. And to tell you the truth, just entering Miss Mamelodi Sundowns, and it was a provincial pageant at the time. Girls are so confident, it's infectious. It's infectious.
Right.
I couldn't believe it, that I had to just come around, you know, a bunch of women.
And the energy.
And then I caught on an energy, to tell you the truth. After I caught on that energy, I knew what I didn't want around me. I knew what's not going to work for me. I knew there's certain people, I'll talk to you about my dreams, I'll talk to you about my desires, but there's just some who will not be able to fathom what I'm about to say.
I love the fact that you are literally unpacking the metaphysical parts of things, right?
Yes.
Because we only see the tangible. We see the crown. We see the winning. We see the prizes. But there's a whole thing that goes, behind that. And what you mentioned, from the time you mentioned you sitting at home as a little girl. You were visualizing and manifesting.
True.
Right?
True.
And someone at home, when I talk about manifesting, visualizing, you think, oh,
It's
we're
a
talking
big
about
thing.
these tralala fairy tales. It's a
No.
real thing, right? Because you are literally aligning your present self with your future self.
True.
It looks like you're playing around, but it holds meaning.
Very true.
Then you went on to say that you knew that the pageant world will crack you open. And that is something that I really want you at home to take away, that you will know and you'll get a nudge on what you need to do to be better.
Yes.
And it may not have even made sense. I don't know what your parents said when you told them or other people, but your soul was directing you.
Naturally, I can't even explain it. Naturally, it felt like the right thing to do.
Yes.
Without anyone saying this is it. And I don't want to, like, I need to tell you, my mom was like, I want you to be in corporate.
Yes.
Go pack those degrees. Go into corporate. Go and get a government job, which is all good and well. But naturally, I really did not feel drawn to that. But I was like, let's do what's going to make her happy. But there's certain things that I do that literally don't even feel like work.
Right?
They don't. Because I feel like it's those things where you manifest them. And when they come to life, it's like you are stepping now into your truth.
Into your true self.
You are stepping into your true self, you know, and what you are doing. It feels like, man, why have I not been doing this all
like
my
home.
life? You know?
Like home.
It really does.
I'm so glad that you managed to crack the code. I call it cracking the code, right? Because not everyone is meant to live like, we're not meant to live like the next person. You're not meant to live like me. I'm not meant to live like you.
True.
And the only way that you can figure out how to live the way you're supposed to live is to crack the code. One of your mottos is that there is no, you never know until you try. I don't think I've got it right. You never lose anything from trying. And I can see it now translate in how you've lived your life.
Yeah.
Let's take it to the work that you do and the things that are surrounding you. You know, you are on TV and that makes you a role model. It also makes you a villain. And we're not here for the politics. We're here for positivity and motivation.
Yeah.
Has being on TV changed your life in any way? And even your identity, actually?
Look, I think being on TV has actually given me an opportunity to reach out to the people who can truly draw inspiration from me.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's different aspects. And I always say that every director has a dream. You know, there's so many things you could say or write or even film about me.
Yeah.
But I think with you, you'd know that there's Thando at work.
Yes.
There's Thando at home.
Yes.
There's Thando as a mom. There's so many different facets and aspects of us within ourselves.
Exactly.
And look, if anything, what I like about me is I will always find something good out of anything. Literally anything.
Yes.
Throw me in fire. I will come back with
as a
something.
phoenix.
Yes. You know? Yeah. And that's what I appreciate about it. That through all the ups and downs on TV, the most amazing things are even yet to come out.
Yeah.
Because of my experience of just being there. And my journey as well with Miss Tembisa. Miss Tembisa has grown ever since I've been on TV. Miss Tembisa has grown. We're getting better sponsors. The pageant on its own is growth. And for me, when I said, look, I'm a Miss Tembisa 2013, 5 years later, I went and knocked on their door and said, please, can you sell me the brand?
Oh, wow.
Because I saw what it did for me.
Yes.
And I said, even if it means only one girl a year is going to witness what I witnessed, that's good enough.
The transformation that you went through.
It's good enough.
Yes.
So I want to take as many people, as many girls as possible through the same journey. Because I literally thought to myself, I wish someone told me this earlier. And I had all the time. I used to sit at home and focus on books. If not books, I'd just idle.
Yes.
If I knew about this earlier, I could have jumped on it so much more earlier.
I really, 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 and I mean this, love the fact that you looked at Miss Tembisa with an even bigger eye, an even bigger vision to say, I'm going to go back, get the very same brand and actually spread it out, multiply it and magnify it.
Yeah.
Because if it opened me up the way it did, if it cracked me open and elevated me the way it did, it can surely do that for the next person.
Yeah.
How do you handle, you know, the commentary, the negativity, the toxicity? So I never know how to say this word right, but
Toxicity.
the toxicity
Yes.
of social media, where people talk as if they know you, where people talk as if they grew up with you. How do you handle that? Because I can imagine some things go straight to the heart.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think if there's anything that I've mastered through the media space is, you know, what you focus on grows.
Yes.
So I really choose who I give my attention to, what I also give my attention to. I'm also it's not just from the media space. I'm conscious of who I spend time around with.
Correct.
Of the things that I ingest with literally my mouth and my ears. There's certain things I won't watch. There's certain things I won't listen to because I listen to absorb.
Yes.
I'm such an absorber.
Yes.
So I need to choose what am I going to let consume me. So when it comes to negativity, I know how to shut down. I know how to treat it like it's dead. I know.
Cut off energy.
Cut it off because whatever I feed grows, and I've seen it.
Yes, it's true.
Whatever I feed with my energy, with my time, with my effort, even just me thinking of someone, I've seen that they can also
pop up somewhere.
You know, they can start calling me from nowhere because I've planted a seed of you in my head.
Yes.
Because that's just me. And because of how powerful I've seen, that this is my world and I'm in control of it.
Exactly.
If there's negativity and I want to kick it out, I will move away from it. Like literally in the most, like I really become very, what is the word?
Super focused, laser focus, tunnel vision.
Like I will do it consciously so.
Yes.
And I'll make sure that if this is what I say is cut off in my world.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Your energy is food. And you've touched on something that's so important, that what you grow multiplies, and what you grow, you get more. I mean, what you put focus on, you get more of.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we are spiritual beings.
True.
And I think the sooner we grasp that, the sooner we accept it, the sooner we make it part of our lives, the better the quality of our lives will be, because we are spiritual beings. So when Ratile is saying that, I know that if I give it energy, it will grow. It is because that's what your spirit is literally giving you back, right?
True.
In terms of business, you are a woman and you're beautiful and you're attractive. And we know the business world. Again, we're not going to get into politics. It's about tunnel vision, positivity, and so forth. How do you handle? I know that, and it might not be your experience, but I know that in the business world, as a woman, especially attractive, especially if you uphold a certain image, it's easy to be undermined, exploited, for people to think you've got no brain, for people to want to consume you, to want to take from you, to have from you, whether it is mind, spirit, or soul, or body. How do you keep yourself intact in that respect?
I think one thing that I've learned to do from a very young age, if I feel unsafe, I build a wall. I build a wall, and I will only be accessible to you for only what you need. And the business world it's a dog-eat-dog world. You know? I mean, not just business, corporate too. You know, where you find that the person who will cause you the most stress, depression, makes you want to even quit your job is unfortunately another woman. You know, and I think that is the one thing that I sometimes do not appreciate about corporate. It's not everyone who has the same experience. But I've realized that the most depressed, the root of the depression is some supervisor sitting somewhere who's been there for 10 years with a matric certificate, who's terrified of someone with a couple of degrees.
Who's
I'm here to get your position. You know? And if I feel like there's no room for growth, I really allow myself to move. Because I also feeling like you are not moving forward in a career means you need to redirect.
Yes.
Because where you find your space, there will be something for you. I started off in project management. I need to tell you, for me to survive in that field,
tell us.
I need to literally, I had to become like a boy. I had to not do my nails. I had to not have long hair.
Wow.
I had to wear all these construction stuff that did not look appealing. In any way. And I'm such a girly girl.
Yes.
And I had to, and that time, the good thing is I was already speaking Sotsi. But you get on site and, you know, there's a bunch of people, and because they're all community workers, you need to allow yourself to go down to them. If this is the language, if they speak Zulu, you speak Zulu, which is fine.
Yes.
I'm multilingual.
Yes.
But they swear a lot. They fight a lot. Like literally during a meeting, someone will literally be holding someone by the neck.
It's just masculine energy.
It's just so
aggressive.
And it's like the more you step into your feminine, the weaker you are, because they do not recognize feminine. Feminine is weak. And I was like, okay, for me to stay here, oh my gosh, I'm really gonna have to step out of myself. I had to step out of myself.
Yes.
Until I eventually thought, you know what, fine, I'm on maternity leave. This is actually the best that I've felt in a long time. Let's see what's next. Then I figured that I like stuff like, even when I was a child, I'd put on calamine on my face and be like, oh, I'm so obsessed about the skincare.
Yes.
I'm so invested in skincare. I love it so much that I literally look into what does niacinamide do for your skin? What does hyaluronic acid do for your skin? What does... I've studied it so much. Every time I feel like I like something, I get invested in research.
You dig
in research. By the time I get to people who do it and I get to associate with them, they actually think I'm in the industry.
Because
that's how much I invest myself in stuff that I like. So soon after I moved out of project management and corporate, I got into skincare. I got into skin science. And it's the best thing I've ever done. It also was part of the things that never had to feel like work. Because I'm the one who has like a 6-step routine in the evening for my face.
That starts at 8 o'clock until 10.
It's like a self-care thing altogether. On a Sunday, I do a little mini peel, you know, like, and I like that.
What does that do for you? Because the reason we have Beamovation is because I really want to go into the pillars of beauty, because you know, there's beauty which is superficial. Oh, beautiful for the world, seeming world. And then there's the part of beauty that is really from within. And that's the beauty we are here for. You know? So please share with us, what does even having that 6-step skin routine do for you? Because you do things like, sometimes I'll be doing my face on one of my videos and someone will just come with a random comment, but what are you doing? Is there a need to do that? And in my mind, I'm like, you don't get it.
You have no idea what it does for me.
You know? So what does it do for you?
It fills my cup. It really fills my cup. Like that's where my week starts. That's where my next day starts. Where I literally draw towards myself. I step out of mom, I step out of wife, I step out of colleague, I step out of
celebrity,
I step out of even my phone. My phone is not there. Everything is closed except for me. I literally feed off that. By the time I'm done doing that routine, I step back into a world that I had switched off for a couple of minutes. And it's so fulfilling. I can't tell you. It's so fulfilling.
It's very fulfilling.
It is. I mean, I know some people do that through gym. They lose themselves through gym. Others lose themselves through substances.
Yes, correct.
Others lose, you know, but I just want to be by myself, for myself, where there's no child on site. You know,
mommy.
No mommy, no nothing. Please don't call me for anything. This is like my me time. And that is just how I recharge.
Now, if we go to the motherhood part, I know so many moms, and at some point I was, after I had my son, you go through a period where it is such, I don't even know whether to say you're confused or you're lost.
The adjustment.
Right?
Yeah.
And you kind of lose yourself, right? You even, there's a point in time where I would look at myself and I'm like, where's my spunk? I don't know where it is, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep that in line? How do you keep your pizzazz, your spunk, while you're raising your children? Because raising children is not it's not a walk in the park. You know, it can cause depression, it can cause weight loss, it can cause weight gain. So to be able to keep yourself at a pace or at a state that you enjoy, that you like, is a whole science. How do you do it?
Look, for me, I really need to. I'm grateful that I've had the support structure that I need.
Yes.
But it was quite rough having to adjust from being myself and then all of a sudden a mom of 3.
Yes.
And I had 2 other stepkids who made like motherhood become like an introductory thing to me.
Yes.
But after you carry with your body and you feel like, oh my gosh,
different.
This child relies heavily on me. They look at me and they see the world through me. It's a big thing. It's really a big thing. And I think that I had to parent myself as well. I really had to, because everyone does parenting how they know how.
Yes.
My mom did it how she knew how. Her mom did it how they knew how.
Yes.
And here I am thinking, I want to be different. I want to do things differently. I grew up very anxious as a child because I used to be put in my box. You know, it was a thing of, no, don't wear this because your legs are skinny. I've known that they're skinny, but coming from someone who's supposed to be a parental figure,
cheerleader, yes.
You know what that does to me, what that does to my spirit as a growing child. So I thought to myself, I want my kids to be able to choose whatever they want to wear.
Yes.
I want them to choose whatever they want to study. I want I want to nourish whatever it is that they want to do, because they have that calling that I found late in
life. Yes.
And I found it late because I felt caged to a certain extent. I was like, this is probably a good idea. Oh, but maybe not, because mom is not going to like it. Or dad prefers something else, you know? And I think that we also need to see where our flaws are. Because the inner child never dies. The inner child also never grows up.
The inner child is you.
Yeah.
In a body of a 39-year-old or whatever. Yes. Whatever your age.
So there's certain things that I do with my kids that really feel like, ooh, I wish
good.
You know, inner child is having a time of her life.
Exactly.
Because I wish I did it earlier.
Yes.
But there's a part of me that is still such a baby. That's why when I have bad days, I literally cry like a child. Or I throw a fit like a child, but I know when to put myself together and be a big girl. But part of healing you is healing how you parent.
100%.
And I think that is so important.
100%.
So many parents can easily spill on their children. And our children literally become such a big representative of what we as parents take them through.
Exactly.
And I really think that if you have that support from moms, from uncles, like I'm so particular, there's certain people that my kids will never visit.
Be around,
I don't want
protect
them,
their mental
they
health.
are not visiting. They will not visit until they know that these are the things that are instilled in us.
Yes.
And the reason why we are not visiting is because we are not aligned with, you see,
whatever it is that goes on in that household.
Because whatever it is that happens in another household can bring so much damage to your children.
And it takes a split of a second for that to happen.
Totally.
1000% I'm with you.
Totally.
So you see, motherhood, and I bring this up because there's a lot of conversation online where some women, like I mentioned with my previous guest, some women don't want to be mothers, and I support that. Some women want to be mothers, and I support that. Some women are not sure, and this can help to bring or paint the picture to say, your children teach you to be a better person.
They do.
And your children help your inner child to experience the things that you never got to experience.
And you need to allow them to, because with some people, every time you feel triggered, remember, I really feel like trauma is not something that starts now.
It's definitely.
Because I was bullied, say, when I was like 6 years old. Anyone who bullies me today opens a wound of when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
even kids can do that to you. But you need to be aware that, okay, now I'm dealing with what I've never dealt with. And I need to react to it right this time. Because children are so pure, you know. With other people, they might do things to trigger you intentionally.
Yes.
But with children, they don't. But each time they step on an emotion that you really can't stand and they see how you react, it actually creates a rippling effect in what's going to happen with them as well.
1000%. That is so true. I love that you're such a conscious parent. I love conscious parenting.
Has to be.
You know, it's not perfect parenting, but it means you're just conscious.
You're just aware.
Right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, like I said, when you're on TV, when you're on social media, they think they know you. And one of the reasons that I really wanted to chat about the power of identity with my guests, some guests like yourself that are in the public eye, some guests that are not in the public eye, but all great individuals, is that we need to understand that what you see on there is not always 100%. It's not even sometimes 5%, you know? If there's one thing, just one thing, that people do not know about you, what is it? What is that one thing?
I am true to myself.
Yeah.
I'm loyal to myself. And I will never choose anything that will compromise me.
Yourself, yeah.
I don't play with boundaries. Even I hold myself accountable.
Yes.
For my own boundaries. Yeah.
I love that. I'm true to myself. I will not compromise myself. And that's where it starts. It starts with self-respect, integrity, self-awareness, and all those beautiful things will actually follow.
True. It's so easy also to say yes. Say yes to anything because you feel the next person will feel good about it. But if that yes makes you feel guilty, you are hurting yourself.
Now I'm even scared to say yes.
Because you are hurting yourself.
Yes,
you know, you don't have to say yes to every. If it works for you, great.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, don't compromise yourself in saying yes to impress others.
To impress
when
other
it
people.
does not sit right with you. Because that's where things really just get hard. I remember the other time, you know, you just take a drive and then think, oh, I'm with this person and they want me to drop them off. You really don't feel like it.
You don't want to drop them off.
And you drag yourself to drop. You know you're going to get into an accident and you will regret the fact that you did not listen to your inner self. Because you had a feeling that this is not on. I'm doing it, but I don't want to. And what is going to make that accident happen is the fact that you are not listening to your instinct.
Start thinking about yourself and start applying the principle of being true to yourself. Ratile, I feel like we could sit the whole day. I love that you unpack so many principles that I even subscribe to: consciousness, you know, manifesting and really believing in yourself. And it truly translates in everything that you do. I mean, for those of us who follow you, follow your work, follow everything that you do, everything that you have described now literally translates to everything that you do.
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best. Before we actually even wrap up, because I want you to give a special message to all the young girls, all the young boys, all the people, all the individuals that are there thinking, I don't know if I will become that which I envision. And you are here saying that which I envisioned has come true. I've become that. Before we get into that message, I'd like to give you a gift from the team, myself, and those that I work with, because we have a culture of, you know, saying
I love gifts.
That you cannot leave the way that you came in. It's something small, something demure, something cutesy. It is your beauty evening pack. This is a sheet mask.
And all the stuff, skincare.
I
knew
know
what you were doing here, right?
You gotta have a plan. That's our home crafted moringa oil from Yves Beauty. And that washes stone rose quartz. And a sheet mask for you to just wind
so
down.
I can have good skin. Like
I mean, I'm talking to the right person, so you know what to do.
Of course, and collagen to keep me young and
Exactly.
gorgeous.
So it's really about, it's just us thanking you for making the time. And to that young girl, to that young person, to that person who's lost, looks at your life and thinks, how does one even get there? And I love the fact that you come from Tembisa. You come from a place where just like myself, you know, I come from Soweto where dreams are not really, I think maybe now it's even better because internet, you know, data.
Access
so we
to
see, we're seeing
information.
things happen. We're seeing people do great things. But back in the day, it was never like that. Please just give them a message of encouragement.
My message of encouragement would be for young girls and young boys to believe in themselves. It all starts with you. Believe in yourself. Believe in your instinct. Even if people fight over what your instinct says, your instinct, it has a natural way of telling you what is for you. And if you listen to that, it will take you out of so much stress and so much pressure. And be guided. Be guided. Pray. Ask questions that, you know, sometimes it's okay to speak to yourself because that's where you get the answers. There's always a higher power. There's always a higher power. There's always a way of figuring it out. There's always, like, there is no limit. For as long as you're alive, you can get sick until you are healed. You know, you can get hurt until that pain goes away. There's just something about the world and life and just how it all operates that makes things work for the good. You just need to believe in it.
You just need to believe. There's always a higher power. It always works out somehow. And if anything, I would like you to please take that from this episode. A young girl from Tembisa who envisioned, who manifested, who played her way to the top. And she is no different than yourself. She is no different than the next person. It's all about decision making, deciding, and trying. Go out there and try. If your heart is telling you to try a pageant, go do it because you never know where your soul is leading you to. Isn't it the soul? The soul is the one that knows before you even, your physical existence catches on. So believe in yourself, believe in your intelligence, believe in your beauty. This is Bemovation, where beauty meets motivation. Please subscribe. Tell your friend, tell your mama, tell your ex to subscribe so they can be a better person. Until next time.